um, 3 weeks ago.
They let you
pick
in?
it up. Yeah, it was a one random Friday, so picked up as much as I could. But
Sweet.
yeah.
So I just hit go live, so it's no one's gonna be watching, but just to see if it would how it would do. Someone is watching, or does that mean it's me and you? It says two viewers. Is it just me and you?
Likely you and I, but I don't know. Hello, random
Hello, people sitting in
person.
Exactly, in their basements.
Yeah, so this is just my backdrop that I work from. My desk is here in the front room. So this is where I work from. I can adjust the blinds. I can add any sort of unnatural light if need be. But this is typically what I'll work from.
Yeah, it looks fine. It looks fine.
Okay.
It's well lit. Great. And I mean, everybody's at home now. It's not like we're expected to be in some professional studio, right?
Yeah, and that was kind of when we talked initially about this, kind of was my viewpoint is that, you're obviously working from home. This is my workspace. And so it's kind of more natural looking. So.
Yeah. Okay. So I thought today we could talk about, we kind of already covered a few things. Like, are you good with Fridays at 2:00 for the next 2:00 my time for the next 3? Right?
I am, yes.
So we'll do the podcasting one that you've actually had a few rehearsals. I guess not even rehearsals, just run-throughs on Friday. Yep. And then I started thinking yesterday about 58 Day. We don't have to have this hour-long webinar thing. It could just be us. I have a handful of war stories about 58s. First time I used it, I dropped it off the stage or whatever. Segue that into a bit of chat about mil-spec and some of the testing that goes on. Do you think that's appropriate? Because that's kind of a differentiator with Shure against other things.
Yeah. So I think, as recently as this retail summit we had 6 months ago, I think we want the story, I know that the 58 is commonly used as a hammer or as a nail, depending on the application.
Yeah.
But I think we want to talk about, the history and the sonic qualities of it, and then the durability. The durability story obviously is huge, and the military spec is obviously huge, and more than a contributing factor of why that is such a successful mic. So that's definitely one of the things we want to touch on, but I don't know if we want that to be the first thing we talk about.
Yeah, the reason you should get this is because it'll last forever, not as much. But it will.
Right.
I actually have one.
Well, it will.
It will, damn it. So we had an event in Louisville a few years ago at a place called Flying Axes. You heard of those places?
Okay.
It's like think of darts with axes. It's exactly what it sounds.
Oh, I've seen one. I've never been to one, but
so it was a Shure event. It was focusing on end users and integrators and things like that. And I had one of their burly, bearded lumberjack axe throwing people throw my 58 at the wall. It is almost like 90-degree flattened completely.
I love that.
And it still works. I have it sitting like on a stand on my desk as some sort of totem for its awesomeness. But I thought about having it like bring it into the camera frame and use it to talk into that during that podcast as like, it still works. I've been beaten to shit.
Do you have an MVI there?
No, I mean, I got my proper interface.
Okay.
Go into that,
I was going to say, it would be pretty funny if you had that off camera and then you were like, this is actually what I've been recording on.
It's I can test that. Let me probably do that here in just a second, but that would be a good idea. And it's such an easy switch, as you know, to switch to the 51 if it sounds like hell, which it shouldn't. It still works fine, but
right.
So, but then maybe a chat. I get this question all the time, like PGA 58, SM 58, Beta 58. What do you get? Maybe even a little bit of chat about that. My point being, maybe the Friday the 8th can be just about 58 and wired microphones. You think that would be fine?
I think so, yeah. I've got this guy that we can talk about, the 565. And we can talk about the storied lineage of this mic too. The only mic on stage at Woodstock, the Freddie Mercury mic. Yeah, I mean, we can. I think there's enough content that we can maybe develop an outline that we want to touch on, but just chat about it, about the history of the stuff. So, and I've got my own custom Corey Willis 57 here. So,
whoa,
yeah.
How'd you get that?
It was on my desk when I returned from vacation last year. So, I think they were testing a laser printer out that we ended up not buying. So,
still, it's the thought that counts. How sweet.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't have anything that cool. I have a 57. I could write my name on it with like a permanent marker, maybe.
A silver one. You do have that Explorer hanging back there. I'm just saying. But,
yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. So I think that would be good. I think a chat about wired. I mean, I don't know if you have a KSM8 there.
I have. Here's what I have. I have a bunch of studio. I have two 137s pair. I have a 42, Beta 27, KSM 27 before it flipped to SM 27, Beta 87, SM 57, SM 58. I think that's all I have.
Okay.
Beta 181 too.
Gotcha. Yeah, I've got SM 27, so we round that trilogy out. Everything Motive, 58, 565, 87. I can get a KSM8 here by then, because actually just an email just came through that we want to definitely start talking about more of the KSM line, to use at home as well. So maybe I'll pull that in. Obviously, I have this on camera. Yeah, well, I think to round it out and talk about the the PG58 all the way up to the KSM8, and then everything in between would be a good story. Definitely.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah,
I'll have that set up. And then the final one, which is May, is it 15th? Something like that? Yeah. So that can be our in-ear monitor, which kind of was the Kickstarter to this whole process, was doing that one. In-ear monitors, right? And we already have that one pretty well outlined.
Yeah. Would you feel more comfortable doing that one this Friday or the podcasting one? Because either one is fine for me.
I would like to do, it's going to sound like I'm punting here. I'd like to do the podcasting one because it's kind of fresh on your brain, I think. Right.
Okay.
And it's a little more timely, perhaps. Who knows what? I don't think we're going to be in any different scenario in 3 weeks necessarily, but we know right now podcasting probably will resonate more with people than in-ear monitors. So in 3 weeks, that may be a better fit. Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's in terms of timeline, yeah, we're doing a Shure sponsored webinar one on the 13th for podcasting. So yeah, so I think to do this one, on McFadden's channels, and then that one in 3 weeks, I think that would offset it nicely.
Okay.
So yeah.
I'm just gonna test something here, see what this looks like. I'm just sharing a screen just to see if that shows up in the stream.
The video.
Yeah. Still learning about all this stuff. Any news on Aonics, by the way? I mean, we don't really need to discuss here if it's super secret, but
in terms of stock,
like I know the 50s were a little slim. Yeah, that looks okay.
Yeah, I think we're supposed to start getting stock in around May 1st. Obviously, as you know, with everything customer service, it's first in, first out. So, earlier orders will get the stock. But yeah, that's they've been running pretty slim, which is a good problem to have, I guess.
Yeah, I guess
it means they're doing well. So can be.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I believe starting around May 1st, we're supposed to start getting stock rolling into the US more regularly.
Okay, very good. So we have the events. I think it's important if we can iron out. Do you have a title in mind for these? Because I'm thinking of like titling the event something, and then when we promote it, being able to cleanly describe what it is. Do you have titles in mind?
Yeah, let's take a look here. So I want to see what we used for the Shure one. Okay. So for the Shure video when I did the podcasting live stream for them. Wow, just looking for my face on guess it was quite a few weeks ago. Da, da, da.
My wife is threatening to cut my hair today. It's not a good thing.
I got a cut not too long ago. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's kind of longer than I normally keep it, but at least the sides are not covering the tops of my ears any longer. It had been since before NAMM since I got a haircut. So
gracious.
Yeah, I know. Let's see. Okay. So the video that we did with the Shure Facebook account was literally just called "We're Live with Corey Willis" to talk about podcasting setup.
Okay.
Essentially, the outline that I sent you and the subjects that I will breach will be everything from, I guess, starting your first podcast to if you've been at it for a while and you just want better sound. So, I mean, I talk as per the outline, everything from picking a name or a title and why that's an important aspect of starting your own podcast to, I have a quote here. Essentially, you can have the best content in the world, but if you don't sound great, then no one's going to listen. So,
very true.
And that's the segue into, talking about the different products that we make that, everything from an SM7B straight into your computer with our interface to, an all-in-one package such as the MV51 or MV5. So,
okay. Yeah. Which is, that's fitting because you're using one of those setups and I'm using a 51, right? So it's kind of fitting for our purposes that we can reference both of those.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Do you think it's worth talking about Aonic 50? I mean, it's
yeah.
We can just touch on the launch of it and the fact that if you just need good computer audio, that's very simple. This will connect via Bluetooth and get you through any sort of calls or I don't know if we want to call that out, but
yeah, I mean, even if it's just 1 minute, we can do that. I have black and brown samples here in the box.
Cool.
So we can both have those as well. I think that'd be fine.
Okay.
So awesome. Podcasting setup, starting your first, is it apt to say like getting up and running with podcasting or something like that?
Let's see.
Because it's not really like the basics of podcasting. It's like all you need to know or tools of the trade or something like that.
Yeah, podcasting, it's not like tips and tricks. It's like
Game Genie.
Yeah. Yes. Getting started with, let me think on a title.
Okay.
Something will roll off the tongue. And I mean, if you have any suggestions, obviously, but
because I'm going to take the title, I'm going to make a thumbnail image to have on the event so that now, cool. I think the default in my YouTube is just my made up band logo from 15 years ago, which nobody cares about. So if we have a title, that's kind of step one for me to create some sort of imagery. And once that's done, then we can start promoting it, which segues to the last thing I want to discuss is how, I mean, obviously a lot of the promotion will be on our side. Is there anything you all feel appropriate to do on your side to promote these?
I'll do that today. I'll reach out to Cheryl and see if we can get like a targeted like regional post about it with a link. Usually she'll do those with like a link to a product category. So in the case of the last live stream that I did, it just linked directly to the podcasting category on our website. So yeah, we'll have it linked to, so will you have a YouTube link that you can provide? Is that how that will work then?
Yeah. So the reason I'm choosing YouTube against Facebook is one, our McFadden's Facebook footprint is pretty tiny because we put it there, then all of us individually share it. But YouTube, it's much easier to share links. Almost everybody accesses YouTube. And we can take that link and put it on LinkedIn and Instagram and Facebook and kind of treat it that way. So yes, there's already a
and
link
you said
created.
you can. Okay, great. So yeah, I'll reach out to. Let me make a note of that right now. I will reach out to Cheryl to see about getting. So I'm gonna have to get this fixed. I using an iPad as my external display to try to have my notes here to the side. Okay, there we go. All right. Yeah, I will reach out to Cheryl and see about getting a targeted post for maybe sometime on Thursday, or whenever she's got time, and I'll relay that info to you when we're going to be able to do that.
Targeted post. All right. Any ideas? Same thing for titles for the other ones. 58 day. I mean, my head first went to like story time because it's trading stories about the 58 and experiences and stuff like that. I don't want it to be overly cheeky, but I mean, I also don't want it to sound like a engineering discussion about it either.
Yeah.
You can think on that too if you want.
Yeah, I think, for something like that, it would just be, history or personal history of SM58. And I mean, does YouTube do the live commenting as well? Like if someone's tuning in live, we can address comments or questions?
I believe so.
Because I'm almost one. Yeah.
I have 2 monitors on right now, and one of them is the stream feed.
Okay.
And there's a part of it that's live chat where people can write stuff. And I just wrote like, today we're just chatting about upcoming events. Stay tuned for more info. And
great. Yeah.
No one's watching. I hate to burst your bubble, Corey, but
shoot. What's this all about? Yeah. So I think that, because I got a lot of comments and questions when I did the Shure ones. So even if we get just a couple that we can, you can read off like, oh, this is actually a pretty funny story that blah, blah, blah told us, that I think would be something cool too, if that arises.
Absolutely.
So we need titles. We need.
I mean, the titles could just be "Come celebrate 58 day with us" or something like that.
Yeah, with McFadden and Shure, I think that would be perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, the podcasting one can just be getting started with podcasting, or podcasting at home. Maybe would be a good one.
Podcasting under quarantine. Trying to podcast with a mask on your face. Dang.
This is actually my screen wipe, but yeah, we could go
the entire room.
Yeah. How to sound good with a mask on.
Put a lav mic inside the mask. Run cable down.
Yes.
Super close mic. That's funnier than you acted. Okay. McFadden.
Yeah, I've got an MV88 that we can talk about as well. From an application of just plugging into your computer, it works very well as like a desktop mic with stand and everything. So we can talk about that too.
What's the setup there? Like if you're plugging in from 88 plus and I want to use my Mac, is that just because the cables that come with are more mobile centric, right? So is that a new cable you need to get?
So mine, my MacBook has a USB-C connector on it for charging and USB purposes. So I'm able to use the packaged cable. However, you would need to buy one either from our parts department or our, or just, somewhere online, just USB-A to, USB micro.
Right.
So,
right. Okay. Too many connections these days.
I know. Yeah. So yeah, it works perfectly fine. Like I said, with the micro USB to USB-C that comes packaged with this, but obviously as with anything, if it doesn't come with what you need, you'll have to get something aftermarket, but we have all the cables available through our parts department.
Okay.
So, yep.
Corey reached out to Cheryl. I targeted posts. All right, and then the last one. The first time someone brought up to me that we should do an in-ear monitor event, the phrase they kept saying is demystifying in-ear monitors. And what they were trying to get at is this: there's so many people that have no idea what they're about, how to use them, why you would use them, and they're intimidated by them, so they don't even try them. So I thought that could be an apt title for that one, unless you want it to be more deep divey beyond that.
No, I think that's great, honestly. I think you're absolutely spot on that it's kind of this like unknown quantity for people who have went and played their first show. They are used to walking up and hearing their voice or their instrument out of a monitor sitting in front of them. And it's kind of, once you move that to the person's ears, it becomes this like completely foreign aspect of playing a show. So, I think demystifying would be a good title.
I think I spelled it right on the first try, which is pretty.
2 Z's, right?
It starts with a Z. The Z's are silent.
Those are Z's.
Are you
Billy
going
Madison.
to the mall today? Rudo. Okay. Decided on titles, pretty much there. Promote. We'll do our normal promotions starting probably tomorrow. And everything looks okay from audio, video, and lighting on our end. Anything else to discuss? You feel pretty good?
No, I feel pretty good. So, I mean, I sent that outline over to you that I used for the last one. Those are kind of my talking points. If we want to make it more of a conversational outline, like you did with your in-ear monitor one, I don't know if you want to add anything to that. I can take the reins on this and we can make it more of a, for this one at least, and we can make it more of a conversation, like I said. It's really however you want to do. I mean, do you want to do kind of a quick run through of I don't know if you have time.
I have about 12 minutes. My wife has so she's in pharmaceutical sales and she has to do virtual lunches. Think of them as like virtual lunch and learns.
Cool.
Which is kind of cool, but kind of not.
All right. Well, yeah. I mean, I'd say maybe just take a look at the outline. If we need to reconnect at some point, I have like one meeting on Thursday and then another call early in the morning, but we can, I'm sure, connect for 20, 30 minutes and kind of run over all that. But
and let me look.
Yeah, so
that sounds good. Let me look at the outline again today, and I can see if it's something that makes more sense where it feels like I'm bringing you into the room and you're the expert and I'm just kind of letting you go. Like, all right, okay, we have our expert here and here's Corey, and you can kind of do the thing you've been doing and I can chime in as needed.
Okay.
That may flow a little better rather than you taking a chunk, me taking a chunk. I guess the first version is a little more conversational, I guess, in my head. And would probably
absolutely
flow a little better.
And yeah, I think that maybe we could do kind of a mix of both, to where I'll get started with basics of podcasting, but once we start digging into the microphones, mic setup, then we can start talking about back and forth about what Shure makes and why we prefer using this over.
Yeah. Okay. Good idea. So I will look at that outline. If I have any thoughts like where I can chime in or areas to highlight, I'll write them back to you. We can try to connect later in the week sometime if you want to actually go through it a bit.
Yeah.
I want it to be, I think you and I are personable and comfortable enough in our own skin that I think it's going to be, we're going to have the best version of this being casual and like not
I think
scripted,
so too.
You know what I mean? So I don't want it to feel like we're going to have to be like, and back to you, Corey. Whoa. And there has to be a better way,
I think that's how it'll work best too, for all three of these. So yeah.
Okay. All right. Anything else? Anything you can think of?
No. So I've got the notes of some things that I need to check in on, and I will get back to you about those once I hear back about the posts and if I think of anything cool for titles. But otherwise, no, I think if you don't mind, actually, unless it's private, sending me the link to this just so I can take a look, see if there's anything I need to change audio wise on my end. I know Zoom has a preference to do auto gain. So I just want to make sure that's not clipping or sounding weird or picking up anything from the street. Because
I haven't heard anything. I mean, 7B is so directional and finite in its range that it sounds like you're wearing a headset mic that is not wavering. And I'm running you through my studio monitors, so it would be
great,
clear. But yes, I'll send you this link. I will also send you the links because I've already created the events. As I was creating those Zoom invites yesterday, I was also mirroring the integration in YouTube Live, so it spits out a link that we can already be promoting. I'll send you those as well in a message.
Perfect. Okay, great.
Cool.
Yeah, that'll be awesome. And that way, when Cheryl asks, what I want to include in the post, if she's able to fit it into her schedule, which hopefully, then we can do that. So
okay. I'm gonna end the stream now. Let me just see what this does. I actually have